in the state of Georgia. Because of the runover of the Indy coverage, not able to bring you the men's jump in the water skiing. Meantime, this venerable old cow palace south of San Francisco is the setting for this heavyweight fight today, matching Gerry Cooney and Eddie Gregg. Cooney, the big Irishman with a big left hook, surely one of the most enigmatic personalities in recent years in boxing. And once more, he seeks the biggest prize in the sport, the heavyweight championship of the world. Cooney became a rational challenger off 3 successive wins in the early 80s, a win over veteran Jimmy Young on a cut mainly, stopping Ron Lyle and knocking out Ken Norton in the first round. No question the media's white hope treatment of Cooney had some impact, partly because it was and probably still is true. For champion Larry Holmes, it meant a big payday, and the boys in boxing do understand the bottom line. It was a credible showing for Gerry Cooney. He stayed into the 13th round before the referee stopped the fight. Cooney then literally dropped out of sight after his only loss.
After the Holmes fight, I was aggravated for a long time. And I woke up one day and I said, geez, I just wasted a year and a half of my life for what? No one cares. I can't get it back. So it's just more or less being happy with yourself. That's important.
It would be right at 2 years before Gerry Cooney would show serious interest in resuming his fight career. Philip Brown, the comeback opponent in Anchorage, Alaska, 1984, easy enough. George Chaplin followed December 84, again no contest, and Cooney hasn't fought since. He announced a second retirement mainly because of some family problems. In particular, one of his brothers had a hard time, allegedly, with alcohol and drugs. But the family has always had meaning for the big Irishman, and he stepped away from fighting until the familial problems had been resolved.
It's difficult for your brothers to grow up in a family where you are, in the spotlight, and you go through life and people refer to you as, well, how's your brother Gerry? How's Gerry? How's Gerry? It's something that I would not like to have happened to me, but I try to explain to them that, hey, don't pay attention to it. It's people, sometimes people don't understand, and that in turn can kind of make them, I don't know for sure, a little resentful of me. And we're all starting to get very close together again, which is very satisfying to me after all this time,
Cooney has shown renewed vigor in preparing for what may well be the final phase of his fight career. 30th birthday is not far off. The public support has lessened. He apparently has toughened. Now it is simply time to get on with it.
I want to win the title more than anything. If it doesn't happen, it wasn't meant to be. And I just hope I find what it is next I got to do in life and make a mark in that and be successful in that and be happy most of all. And catch you later.
Boxing is not a sport in which being happy is one of the primary factors. And I would say basically it's one of the most bottom line of all bottom line businesses in sport, Alex Wallow. In your years around the sport, I would suggest that the 3rd ranking by the WBA of Eddie Gregg is the real reason that we have this fight today.
When Gerry Cooney decided to come back, Keith, he wanted to go immediately and fight Michael Spinks for the IBF championship. But in order to fight for a world title, you must be ranked. Because of his inactivity, Gerry Cooney is not ranked. Eddie Gregg has what he needs, and that's a ranking by all 3 organizations, and that is why Cooney's fighting Gregg today.
And Cooney now is beginning to make his way into the ring, and of course he's magnetic. He's got an ability to rally people to him. People gravitate to him. But I don't think he should just waltz into a title fight. I think he should earn his way, particularly right now since there's so many young people trying to get it. So is he more now than a one-dimensional fighter in your opinion?
Well, the one dimension that Gerry Cooney has is his left hook, his left hand to the body and to the head. And that generally is not enough to get you a world championship. But right now in the heavyweight division, there are no complete fighters. Right. And Gerry Cooney does punch tremendously hard with that left hand, and that might just be enough to get him a world title.
Well, now, Gregg's, has he got a chance? Cooney's got to be ring rusted. Does, in fact, Eddie Gregg have a real chance to take him down?
In order to beat Gerry Cooney, you have to do one of 2 things. Either you have to move like Larry Holmes did and let Gerry tire himself out until he can't deliver his punch and not let him get set for his punch, or you have to be able to go in and bang with him and get his respect, as Holmes, in fact, did in round 2, so that Cooney can't just walk in. Eddie Gregg doesn't have the ability to move and box. and he doesn't have the power to bang and get Jerry's attention in close. So I really don't see a realistic chance that he can win.
But to me, I would think that movement may be the more important of everything, especially in the early going, don't you think?
And yet when Eddie Gregg talked to us before the fight yesterday, he said he's going right after Gerry Cooney. He thinks that Cooney's been inactive, and he thinks if he gets his attention, makes him bleed a little bit, makes him swell up a little bit, that he can win the fight.
Okay, well, it'll be interesting to see as Gerry Cooney in another comeback against Eddie Gregg. We'll have the fight for you in just a moment. Here's your tale of the tape. I think the age is significant, particularly for Eddie Gregg. It could be the turn in the road for him here if he either wins or loses. Doesn't matter. The 10 pounds in weight, I think at this level, 10 pounds doesn't make that much difference. The height, as you can see, these are two of the bigger fellows around, and the edge of 1.5 inches is also negligible for Cooney. As I said just a moment ago, I got to believe that mobility on the part of Gregg will be very, very important. Some boxing ability. If he lets Gerry Cooney set himself, plant himself, and Cooney nails him with a left hook, he's gone.
The other thing to watch for early, Keith, is how Eddie Gregg carries his right hand. He has a tendency when he's punching to be wide open. There he goes right after him like he said he would, at least for the first tentative punch. Took a good jab from Cooney.
All right, we're fighting in California Athletic Commission rules as Cooney hooks him hard to the body. Scoring is by the referee and 2 judges on a 10-point must system. Cooney missed with that big wing and left hook. 3 knockdown rule is not in effect. There is no standing 8 count, but a mandatory 8 count is in effect. Cooney threw a short, sharp right hand, hooks with the left. Gregg is winging away with him, and I think Cooney shook him up with that left hook just a moment ago. There's another left hook thrown by Cooney. He's a little wild inside. But Gregg is good as his word. He told Alex Wallow yesterday, I'm going to go right at him, and now he has been hurt. He is in trouble. His knees are wobbling, and Eddie Gregg has got a problem, though he did pop that left hand into Gerry Cooney's face. Gregg is shaken.
He just doesn't have the power to stand there and trade with Gerry Cooney. And right now, he doesn't have the mobility to move anymore. Right now, it just looks like a matter of time, Keith.
Legs are almost gone for Eddie Gregg, it would appear. There's a hard uppercut, and down goes Eddie Gregg in the first round, and I don't think he's going to get up with any authority. He may not get up at all. It was a powerhouse left hook, flush on the jaw. Rudy Ortega, the referee, waves his arms, and this fight is over. .26 of the first round. Gerry Cooney is now 28-1.
Inside left hook there by Cooney. Eddie Gregg is just standing there and taking punches. He tried to intimidate Cooney, but he hit him a couple of times, but he just didn't do any damage. You saw the Gregg jab right there, but Gerry walked through it and continued to punch. I think the left uppercut was a better punch from Cooney in this fight than I've seen it recently. I haven't seen anything of Cooney recently, but in this fight, he showed us a left uppercut, which is a little bit different for him.
There was a left hook to the body early on. There was a left hook to the side of the head. And from that point on, I thought Eddie Gregg was in trouble. His legs were stiff, and then it, as you said, became a matter of time, and the left hook was right on the button, and the fight was over. I don't think Eddie Gregg was in any position to continue the fight. I think Rudy Ortega made the only decision he could make.
There's the Cooney left to the body, and that had to take some of Eddie's legs away, his ability, if he wanted to get out of danger right now. I'm not sure he can.
No, I think he's locked in that position. You see, there's nothing in the legs. The legs are long gone. And it was that left hook to the body, followed by a left hook to the head, and the fight was over. From that point, it was just a matter of time. So we'll be joining some of the action from the World Amateur Boxing Tournament, which was held a couple of weeks ago up in Reno. We'll also talk with Gerry Cooney and return with more.
How does it look, Gerry?
Well, I was in real good shape. We've been training hard. We've been hearing a lot from the press and things, and we just stick to our fight plan and get in shape, keep working hard, and we're very successful today. I went to plan to listen to what Victor said, set him up, be careful from coming out. If I see the opening, just throw short punches, and that's just what I did.
Were you surprised that he came right after you in the first round?
Well, I felt a little bit rusty in the early going. Yeah, I figured he was going to come at me and open up at me, but I was prepared for him. Victor taught me very well. We have a great team here, and we're still working, and we still want to get the title.
Gerry, we're going to take a look at round one from the opening bell. If you look down at this monitor.
Hey, all right.
Your comments right here, Gerry.
Well, I'm being careful with him because he's a pretty good puncher, and I'm watching him, and I'm just looking for an opening to catch inside. I'm catching him in the belly and the body a little bit. I just hit him with a left hook on the chin. See, and hurt him a little bit, but he's very resilient. He comes back, so I was just taking my time. If I had to go 10 rounds or 1 round, I was ready to go. He's hurt there pretty bad, and my right hand was working pretty well to the stomach and to the chin. And I just felt he was right there for me, ready to go.
We saw the left uppercut used more than we've seen it from you in previous fights. It worked beautifully for you.
Yeah, Will, you know, we've been away. I've been telling people that I feel much more confident as a fighter. We've been training hard, and I feel more mature now as a fighter, and my problems have been set aside, and I want to get the title.
All right, Greg.
And
right there, there was the left uppercut right there.
Yeah, started him going. He started to head down. I knew he was hurt there, but I was being careful. You can see a little bit of rust in me there, but we've been working very hard, and he was tough. He was there to win the fight, and it was going to be him or me, and I'd rather be him than me. But I'd like to give special thanks to Universal Weight Training Equipment for sticking with me, especially Bill McCormick, a friend of mine from Boston, Albie, and all my other fans across the world. Hey, I love you, and hey, I'm back. Tom.